Hi there, my name's Adrian and I'm a software engineer by trade. Over the years, I've worked at quite a few software companies, ones that are consumer based, so companies that build like an NFT marketplace, and currently now I work at Takelot, which is a South Africa's largest e-commerce platform, and other businesses that build software for other businesses like banks and call centers and that kind of stuff. However, recently, over a year ago, myself and three other partners, we decided to build a software for plumbers. So this is B2B software, and it solves a very specific problem. But I'll talk to you a bit about that later in the video. So let's talk a little bit about B2B versus B2C, just to get some definitions down. So what is B2B? B2B stands for business to consumer, and B2B stands for business to business, and B2C stands for business to consumer. These types of applications differ wildly compared to one another. Notice B2B applications are designed. You'll notice that B2C applications are designed to be extremely addictive. This is notably like social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and that. These are B2C platforms. They're designed to keep you engaged and on them because usually you pay for attention, or you pay with your attention. However, B2B software that is designed for other businesses, these are like Apollo.io, Instantly.ai. These are all marketing platforms, but you get the idea. That's ultimately what the difference is between the two. So the reason why I love B2B, the reason why I love B2B based software so much is the problems are easier to find than B2C ones. So in B2B, like I said, it's much easier to find problems, and it usually just involves phoning people up, like phoning up plumbers or electricians or doctors or dentists and that kind of stuff. These are businesses that offer services, and these businesses will have problems that they don't know how to solve, or have tried solving them, haven't been successful. So in generally speaking, usually these are painkillers within the business, and painkillers are easier to find in a business than in general consumers, right? So a classic painkiller is client acquisition. How can my business that services other businesses or people like dentists and plumbers and that kind of thing, how can we solve a painkiller that they have, right? So usually painkillers in the business. So usually these are painkillers within the business, and painkillers are easy to find in businesses than in customers' lives. A classic example is client acquisition. How can a business get more clients? How can a plumber get more clients? Usually that's not the problem. Usually plumbers are always fully scheduled if they're good and they're affordable. But other businesses like dentists and what else is there? Electricians and that kind of stuff. These guys usually struggle. It's most of the time they just rely on word of mouth to get new clients. So, and if that process is not streamlined, it can be even more harder. So that's why client acquisition is one of the biggest, easier problems to solve, and there's plenty of businesses that struggle with that. So this goes back to my B2B software, which is revolves around client acquisition. All we do is just streamline lead capturing. That's very, very it's a very easy problem to solve. Whereas in B2B, it's hard to kind of find these problems, and I'll get to that just now. So, all right, so let me explain how my B2B software works and how it solved a very simple problem for plumbers. So the problem that it solves is usually people would contact a plumber saying, "Hey, I've got a burst geyser. Please, will you come out today? I need it fixed because I need hot water. I've got a family," and that kind of thing. Because that's the general problem that people will always have. But someone would message a plumber and say, "Hey, I've got this problem." The plumber just takes long to reply because they're busy, they're out on jobs and that kind of thing. That's the main problem. Plumbers get like 20 messages a day that they can't keep up with. So how do we solve that problem? So, and the cost of having that problem continues is that plumbers just lose out on lots of money, because if someone messages them with a geyser, geysers are usually one of the easier but the most high-paying work for plumbers. If they don't reply in half an hour, it's an emergency to that person. They're just going to go to someone else. I mean, that's just how life works. So plumbers lose out on a lot of money because of this. So our software, all it does is it auto replies. I'll explain how this works just now, but it just allows a customer to capture. So how our software works is when a client messages a plumber, instead of waiting half an hour to get a reply, their WhatsApp business, so it relies on WhatsApp business, just sends an automated reply saying, "Hey, we received your message. Please will you fill out this link." So here's the link, and then the client fills it out. Very easy to fill out. It's just some basic contact information, describe the problem, upload a photo or whatever. And then the plumber gets that lead in a little CRM that we've built, and then they can sort on if the work they want to do it. Like, do I want to, is this job valuable to me, or like, wow, this is a high valuable job because it's a geyser or something like that, depending on the area as well, all these kind of factors. So that's a very simple problem to solve. I mean, we've solved it now, and plumbers are using it, and their users love it as well. So we're saving them a lot of time and money throughout their day. All they have to do is go on our software. They get just a lot of leads every day, and they schedule them, and they can reject them. And then when they reject them, it lets the client know, "Hey, sorry, we've rejected this request. Would you," I don't know, it's up to them what the follow-up sequence is, but that's basically the problem we solved. A very simple problem, like I said, but you can make a lot of money from that. It's ultimately client acquisition is probably one of the best problems to solve within businesses. How you go around it is up to you. That's our way how we done it. But it's like I said, clients messages on WhatsApp to your company, auto replies with the leads form. Once they filled it, an automated response is sent. So everything's systemized. It's not, "Oh, when I get around to my phone, I'm busy at another thing. Sorry, I'm busy." I mean, those are the general replies you get from plumbers is, "Sorry, man, I was busy on a site," and they take an hour to reply, but you've lost that person now. So that's our software in a nutshell. So B2B, B2C is a lot harder to identify problems like this because they don't exist. With B2C, it's a different ballgame, So it's hard, like I said, it's hard to identify problems to everyday solutions, and it is very niche and hard to identify unsolved problems in a marketplace that are easy to solve. So easy to solve problems that are unsolved and that are good, and you can get a decent amount of money per user. It's hard to solve. So, for example, Honey, the browser extension, that was a pretty easy problem to solve. I mean, on checkout, people want to look for coupons and save money on, because there's just coupons floating around everywhere in the internet. It's an easy problem to solve. I mean, the software I don't think is that complex. Just have a database of coupons or whatever. Turned out to be a big scam, but that is a very unique problem to solve. And you don't stumble upon that problem often in your life. As well as other examples of platforms like social media platforms or things like this, like Instagram. Instagram filled a need where initially it was for photographers to upload photos, where Facebook wasn't meeting that need, and Facebook bought them. You can't solve that problem again. It's solved. I mean, like, then Snapchat came around with stories initially, and then TikTok came around. So there's been a handful of social media platforms, but you can't solve them. You can't innovate there really easily, because you need a lot of content on that platform. You need to have growth and that kind of thing to make these platforms valuable. Whereas B2B, client acquisition, you can solve that problem with an existing software or your own software and get paid for it. And you can get paid a lot of money for it. So that's why I'm saying B2B is easier to find problems. You phone businesses up, interview people that work at business, become friends with them. That's what we did. Funny story. One of my partners, how we've discovered the plumber problem was, he's at a membership at a country club. It's nothing fancy. I'm poor name maybe, but they have a sauna there, and he would just talk to plumbers who so happened to go to the same country club or whatever it's called, Newlands, whatever. And he would just chat to people, and he would understand their problems, and then he would take these problems that he was listening to, because he chats with plumbers all the time, and he would come back to us and say, hey, these guys are struggling with it. Let's form an idea. Let's try to figure out a solution for them. And then we presented a solution. We built the software over like 4 months. And now they're using it and they love it. It's really easy to find these problems. You just speak to people, specifically in businesses. So, yeah, let's move on to some B2B examples. So, like I said, our plumbing job management / job scheduling software. That's a good example of a software for B2B. Another one is Calendly. Sure, you could say it is B2C, but it's usually for businesses, because you want to schedule an appointment. Well, if you don't know, Calendly is a simple appointment scheduling software. Why do you want to schedule appointments? Because you want to go into a sales call to sell something to someone. You don't usually use it for B2C. I mean, why would I schedule an appointment with my friend to chat with them? I don't know. It's primarily used for appointment setting in a B2B context for sales. So it's very business oriented, right? iClose.com comes and makes it a bit better. So they just qualify leads. There's a few variations of Calendly out there, like cal.com and stuff. But the bottom line is, businesses are willing to pay for these softwares that has some sort of return on their spend. So Calendly, if they've streamlined the booking process, so Calendly is kind of like my software for the plumbers. They've just made it really easy to schedule appointments for this type of thing, right? So for people online who want to book calls, our thing is we've just streamlined for booking appointments for plumbers. You could probably do the same for something else. It's a very simple problems to solve, right? So, and you can bill for it. So if you streamline that little process within a business and you make it better, and the return on that is the business makes a lot more money because it's more streamlined. They don't lose leads. They make like 100,000 Rand, South Africa, or like, what is it, $6,000. Sorry if my maths is off there, but if you gain that, you can charge like a percentage of that or whatever, depending on the pricing model. So some sort of lever or some sort of unblock is some sort of blockage is the problem you're trying to solve. Yeah. So B2B, let's chat about this. So I worked at this company, Moment. They're an NFT platform that sells solar on blockchain. It's very niche. It's hard to get customers. I mean, they've pumped it through a few mil through that platform, but it's hard to convince people to trust them as a financial institution and get them to spend on their platform. It is like a marketplace. It's hard to build trust for customers or consumers, but it's hard to find painkillers for consumers' lives. Usually painkillers are not in software, and if they are, it's very hard to build that software. I mean, ChatGPT is a painkiller. It's extremely painful to not use ChatGPT nowadays. That you have ChatGPT at your disposal. Um, but it's hard to build an AI like ChatGPT. Be the first one to build it, let alone. However, building a marketplace for people to spend money on to buy thousands of rands worth of assets on, it's a hard problem to solve. Well, it's not a hard problem. It's hard to get people to use it and trust you. And the likelihood of you coming up with ideas like this is hard. It's very niche, and you don't know if it works. So that's just a poor example of a B2C platform. It's kind of like a social network. Other things that usually appear with B2C are not painkillers. They're usually vitamins. And painkillers, vitamins is an analogy for, is this problem painful that I would pay whatever to solve it? Or was this problem just like a nice to have in my life? Nice to have things that are B2B software that single people have found built as like financial platforms, or like things that train their dog, and all are taking photos of plants and using AI. These are very vitamin-y kind of things. You don't need them. They're not painkillers, and it's hard to identify painkillers in your life. Customer acquisition. So customer acquisition is relatively the same for both B2C and B2B. Ultimately, there's two splits here: cold outreach or warm outreach. Cold outreach channels are like email or cold calling or just running ads. Warm outreach is usually like content on YouTube. You know, you have a brand and you are building some sort of rapport with people, and then you retarget those people on ads. So ads don't have to be cold; they can be retargeted from a list, and people know you because you retarget. You visited their website or you looked at their YouTube channel. You send ads to them. That's basically what retargeting is. And if you don't know about these customer acquisition, completely not really relevant to this video, but I'll just throw in, check out Alex Hormozy or Charlie Morgan. Alex Hormozy has great Alex Hormozy has great training on just cold outreach and leads and that kind of thing. And Charlie Morgan solves the problem of like customer acquisition. He teaches you how to build systems and the stuff like that for this. So generally speaking, from B2B, B2C, customer acquisition is kind of the same. If you have a brand, you can basically sell anything. You can do email and phone for customer. Like, I want to phone you up, hey, please use my social media platform. But no one really does that, right? But you can do that for businesses. Hey, are you a dentist? Do you struggle with this? I can solve this problem with you with my software. We've done this for X amount of other dentists. You can't really do that with social media. Like, hey John, hi. These people on your Facebook profile have used my social media platform. Do you want to check it out and post a photo? I mean, maybe I'm being a bit bullish, but that doesn't happen. So you can't really use email and phone. I mean, you probably could use email for like commerce and stuff, but not really speaking. Pricing, the last and the final note. With B2B, you can charge a lot higher ticket offers for SaaS compared to B2C. So B2B, you'll notice when you go to like platforms like Apollo or Salesforce or Instantly.ai, these softwares charge like $100 plus per seat or per user, and that's quite expensive. But businesses are willing to pay for that amount because it solves a problem, and they get way more money out of the problem being solved than what it costs. Whereas B2C, usually the return is not what you spend on. That's why with B2C software, you can only charge like $10 up to like $40 for the software, depending how good the software is and what the problem solves. Like ChatGPT, I think it's $20. Remarkable what the software has done. But it's a medium ticket kind of offer, right? You can't, unless you're a power user and you want to use their $200 model, no one's going to be willing to pay for $20 for consuming something, right? It's just people don't see it as valuable because there is no tangible return other than entertainment or getting some coupons or something like that. It's harder to charge high ticket with these softwares. So yeah, that's pretty much my last point, is because businesses can afford to, if the problem you solve returns a profit from the cost of the software, then people are willing to pay for it. That's how we've seen it. So the easiest one, like I said, is client acquisition. Use that as an example. It's a great problem to solve for businesses because it never goes away. Businesses need more clients to be in business. That's pretty much what it is. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. It's one of my first YouTube videos in like 4 or 5 years or whatever. So hopefully I've gotten a bit better. Got this new microphone. Don't know if it sounds better. I hope it does. Can't really afford the Shure microphones. This is kind of a cheap microphone, but keen to get this on a roll and talk more about software stuff. So if you enjoyed it, stick around. I'll see you in the next one.